Bishop, good to see you.
Good to be here.
Recently, you celebrated a Mass of healing and hope with some of the survivors of clergy sex abuse. First of all, how do you think that went?
Well, I think it was very positive. It seemed like everybody was in a, a pensive mood, but there wasn't any real difficulty that happened. Again, this was at the request of survivors. We've been working with the group and committee for about a year. So I think it was well planned, and the points that we wanted to make about healing and hope were done. So I thought it was a very positive evening.
Yeah. What do you hope will be the long-term effects of having people together like that for a Eucharist?
Well, that people feel they're supported, and that there's other people that understand that the issues they've dealt with, they're not alone. And that's the key thing. We wanted to show support. I mean, healing process is a time-consuming process. It doesn't happen overnight. These were traumatic experiences for most people, and you don't heal overnight. It takes time. As I use the image of a deep wound becomes a scar, a scab. You take that off. There's still the scar at the end of it when all is said and done, but it's a time process.
You made the point also in your homily that everybody is at a different point in the healing process, right, and that some people are ready to come together for a liturgy, and some people may not be at that point yet. So there were a small group of demonstrators outside that had a different point of view. Would they fall into the category there, or they're at a different point in the healing?
It seemed that they were really trying to have the church change its idea on statute of limitations. The difficulty with the statute of limitations of rolling it back is that the church becomes the object of the suits. It's not the individuals who perpetrated the crimes, so that's the problem. It looks like somehow the church knew about these things and supported people who did it. That's just not true. The history is there. John Jay's study gave a pretty accurate and dispassionate and outside view about what happened. And what happened is that this was unknown in society. It was unknown in the church that this was happening. And once it did come out, I think the church did respond by, certainly in the last 12 years, since 2002, we've had, now we have a program of protection for children, screening of people that work for us, much better prepared to protect people than we were in the past.
Mm-hmm. If left unchecked, if the church didn't have this, group that came together, and what do you think would be the long-term effects on those people who are survivors, or in some cases victims?
Well, again, we offer counseling to anybody who comes forward and says they were abused by a member of the clergy or an employee of the Diocese of Brooklyn. We don't ask any questions. We don't say, oh, prove it. You said it happened. We believe you. We offer you counseling. There is some limits to it. As long as the therapist feels that person's being helped, they have some goals, we support them. And we spend over $200,000 a year just on counseling to victims. So I think that's a positive part on our part. Compensation for past wrongs doesn't help somebody heal. That's really not part of the healing process. That's the revenge in many ways. Mm-hmm. So we have to be very careful of how we pose these questions. We are willing to help, willing to meet with any victim that asks for assistance. So all of this is part of our commitment to healing and to bring hope to people.
You talked about the courage and the bravery of people who do come forward like that.
Right.
I would imagine it takes a lot for somebody to step forward and to say this or that happened to them.
It's true. It's people after many years have the ability to do that. Sometimes it takes them a long time, and some people never come forward. They just keep it. But things happen that let people see that it's time for them to unburden themselves, and we're there to help them at that time.
And I think at one point you said that you had a little trepidation coming into this also last night. What do you mean by that?
Well, I didn't know what was going to happen, if we were going to have people disturbing the Mass, or what reaction we would have gotten. So I didn't know, and I think now it was very positive. I think, again, we will have something in the future, maybe on an annual basis, but it's obviously something that was needed and was appreciated and worked.
And we have a coordinator for victims assistance, and she said last night if they call the hotline, the contact number, she will get back to them, and if they want to meet with you, you're available to do that.
That's right.
Okay. Bishop, thank you so much.
Okay.